Logan Hayes ran through the narrow metal corridor, his boots slamming against the floor. The alarms screamed. Red lights flashed across walls scorched by explosions. He could hear the shouts of soldiers and the cries of civilians. The outpost was under attack. A plasma beam cut across the hall in front of him, melting a support beam. Sparks fell around him like rain. He grabbed a nearby pipe and swung it, knocking the weapon out of an alien drone's grip. The drone hissed and exploded into pieces. "Move! Get everyone out!" Logan shouted over the roar. His voice was sharp, urgent. Soldiers scrambled beside him, carrying wounded civilians. Smoke filled the hall, choking the air. He could smell burning metal and something worse, human fear. He rounded a corner and froze. A little girl stood in the open, her hands raised. Tears ran down her dirty face. "Please, don't hurt me again," she begged. Her voice was tiny, almost swallowed by the chaos. The aliens laughed, cold, mechanical, cruel. Logan's stomach twisted. He wanted to run to her, but the corridor behind him exploded. Fire and shrapnel threw him against the wall. His ears rang, and the world tilted. He saw the girl's silhouette swallowed by flames. He coughed, gasping for air. Around him, the outpost collapsed. Steel twisted, lights shattered, and the smell of burning bodies filled the hall. Soldiers screamed orders he couldn't hear. Logan pulled himself up and ran again. He reached a junction and found a group of humans hiding. They were shaken, some injured. Logan barked orders. "Form a line. Cover each other. We need to reach the evacuation point now." They moved through the ruined hallways. Alien drones patrolled above, scanning with red beams. Every corner held danger. Every step could be their last. Logan's heart pounded. The cries of the girl haunted him. He could not save her, but he swore he would save the rest. A distant explosion shook the corridor. Dust fell from the ceiling. A wall of fire blocked the next junction. Logan pressed his back against the metal wall, sweating, listening. Through the smoke, he saw the glow of alien warships landing outside. Engines roared. Heat and light burned through the windows. He realized the outpost was a trap. The fire had been set on purpose, a signal to the invaders. Civilians were bait. He gritted his teeth, feeling rage and helplessness mix inside him. He turned to the humans with him. "We fight through, or we die here. Stay close and move fast." They ran again, crawling under beams, jumping over debris, diving through fire patches. Alien patrols fired from above, their weapons cutting the metal floors. Sparks flew with every hit, and the walls shook as if the building itself was alive and angry. Logan reached a broken stairwell. He looked down and saw a canyon of rubble leading outside. Smoke and fire rose like pillars. He hesitated for a moment. One wrong step would mean death. Then he leapt. The group followed, landing with heavy thuds on jagged metal. The fire behind them roared, and alien drones hovered above. Logan scanned the sky. More warships were coming. They were not just attacking. They were surrounding. A scream cut through the roar. Logan turned. One soldier, carrying a wounded civilian, had tripped. Aliens fired. The soldier fell. The civilian screamed. Logan charged forward, dragging the man to cover, ignoring the fire licking at his boots. Through the smoke and flames, Logan spotted a shadow moving. The little girl was alive, dragged by an alien soldier toward the outside. She looked back at him with wide, terrified eyes. He ran, heart hammering toward her, but a plasma beam sliced across the corridor in front of him. He hit the ground, rolling to avoid the blast. The world shook. The girl vanished into the fire. Logan's chest heaved. His hands were scorched. The fire had started, and it would not stop. Somewhere, the aliens laughed, and he knew this was only the beginning. Logan crawled from the rubble with ash on his face. The fire behind him still burned, lighting the sky in red and orange. The outpost was gone. Metal towers had fallen, ships were smoking wrecks, and the air was thick with dust and heat. His ears rang. but the world was quiet in a strange, dead way. He pressed a hand to his side where the armor had cracked. Blood soaked his sleeve, but he did not stop. He looked around, searching for movement. Somewhere in the ruins, a faint voice called for help. Logan moved toward it, keeping low. He found 3 survivors under a collapsed walkway. A soldier, a medic, and a man in civilian clothes. The medic's face was covered in dirt, her hands shaking as she tried to lift a beam. Logan joined her and forced it up with a grunt. Together, they pulled the others free. "Are you hurt?" she asked. Her voice was flat from exhaustion. "I'll live," he said. "We need to move. The aliens will sweep this place." The soldier nodded, gripping his rifle tighter. They followed Logan through the wreckage. The ground trembled from distant engines. Searchlights crossed the sky. The aliens were hunting the survivors one by one. They found a trench made from broken metal plates and took cover. Logan watched the horizon. Alien drones moved in patterns, scanning with red beams that sliced through the smoke. Their movements were fast, precise. Human survivors didn't stand a chance if they stayed exposed. The medic whispered, "They're everywhere. What do we do?" Logan checked his rifle. It had 1 charged cell left. "We move when the lights pass. Stay low and stay quiet." They crawled through the wreckage. The ground was hot. The smell of burnt oil and flesh filled the air. Every step made the metal creak. Logan's eyes kept scanning the dark, ready for movement. Then he saw her. The same girl from before, running across the open ground, limping, clutching a small toy to her chest. She looked broken, but alive. Behind her, an alien drone locked on. Its cannon glowed. Logan broke cover and sprinted. The others shouted his name, but he didn't stop. He aimed and fired. The plasma bolt struck the drone's core and it exploded in a shower of sparks. He reached the girl and pulled her behind a wrecked truck as another drone descended. "You're safe now," he said, catching his breath. She shook her head. Her face was pale, her eyes wide with fear. "They said you would come," she whispered. Before Logan could ask what she meant, the ground shook again. A massive shadow fell over them. The alien warship was landing nearby. Its engines roared, and waves of dust rolled over the ruins. The medic grabbed the girl and ran toward the trench. Logan covered them, firing at drones that came in low. His rifle overheated, and he threw it aside, grabbing a piece of metal pipe instead. He swung it at the nearest alien soldier that appeared through the smoke, smashing its armor and driving it back. The fight was short, brutal, and loud. When the last alien fell, Logan stood panting, surrounded by wreckage. The medic and the girl crouched behind a wall, eyes wide. Logan joined them and looked toward the horizon. Alien transport ships were dropping troops across the planet. There would be no rescue, no safe place to run. He looked down at the girl. She stared at him with strange calm, then pointed at the warship. "They are not here to take prisoners," she said. Logan's stomach turned cold. He saw the truth in her eyes. The attack wasn't a raid. It was a cleansing. Humanity was being erased from the planet. He turned toward the others. "We move east," he said. "There's an old industrial tunnel under the refinery. If we make it there, we can hide." They began moving, stepping over bodies and burning machines. Behind them, the fire from the landing warship grew brighter, swallowing the ruins in heat and noise. Then a new sound filled the air, deep and metallic, coming from below the ground. The soldiers stopped and looked at Logan. "That's not one of ours." The ground cracked open under their feet, and a column of blue light shot up from the earth. Logan stumbled back, pulling the girl with him. The light pulsed once, twice, then formed a strange circular shape, humming with alien energy. The medic whispered, trembling, "What is that?" Logan didn't answer. He raised his weapon, eyes locked on the light as something began to crawl out of it. The blue light tore open the ground. Wind roared through the crater, throwing dust and fire into the air. Logan shielded the girl with his body as a wave of heat rolled over them. The ground cracked again, and something crawled out. It was tall and thin, armored in dark metal that moved like liquid. Its eyes glowed white. The sound it made was not a voice but a vibration that hurt to hear. Logan aimed his rifle, but the creature didn't stop. It walked straight through the flames, unharmed. The soldier beside him fired. The rounds bounced off the creature's chest like sparks against steel. The medic screamed, pulling the girl behind cover. Logan grabbed a grenade from his belt, pulled the pin, and threw it at the thing. The blast lit up the crater, shaking the ground. When the smoke cleared, the creature was still standing. Logan's chest tightened. "Fall back!" he shouted. They ran across the ruins toward the industrial tunnels. The creature followed, each step heavy, slow, and certain. The blue light behind it pulsed like a heartbeat. They reached the tunnel entrance. The metal doors were bent and half buried, but Logan forced them open. The group slipped inside, sealing the door with a broken beam. Inside, the air was damp and full of dust. The sound of engines echoed somewhere far below. They moved deeper into the dark, flashlights cutting through the smoke. The walls were covered in pipes and broken cables. The medic held the girl's hand, whispering to keep her calm. Logan led the way, gun raised, every sense on edge. "That thing isn't one of them," the soldier said quietly. "I've never seen anything like it." "It came from under us," Logan said. "Not from the ships. Maybe it's worse." The tunnel opened into a large chamber filled with old machinery and rusted vehicles. Logan stopped, scanning the area. A faint light blinked on one of the walls. He walked closer and saw a human console, still working, covered in dust and scorch marks. He powered it up. A holographic screen appeared, showing a map of the area. The outpost had been built over an alien dig site, hidden deep underground. The blue light wasn't part of the invasion. It had been buried there long before. The medic looked at the screen and then at Logan. "They woke it up." Before he could answer, a loud crash came from the tunnel behind them. The doors were gone. The creature had found them. Its steps echoed through the dark, slow and heavy. The sound of metal scraping on stone filled the air. Logan turned off the lights. "Stay quiet," he whispered. The group crouched behind the machinery. The creature entered the chamber, its glowing eyes sweeping across the dark. Its body gave off a soft hum, and the air grew hot. The girl pressed her face into Logan's arm, shaking. He could feel her heartbeat. The creature stopped near the console and raised its head as if it could smell them. Then it spoke in a low, distorted voice that almost sounded human. "You were not meant to find this place." The soldier flinched. The sound was wrong, filled with static and echoes. Logan lifted his weapon, ready to fire. The creature turned toward them slowly, its eyes brightening. Logan shouted and the group opened fire. The room filled with noise and light. Sparks flew from the walls. The creature staggered back, but its armor began to shift, healing the damage. It moved faster now, striking with one arm and throwing the soldier into a wall. Logan grabbed the girl and the medic. They ran toward a ladder that led deeper underground. The creature roared behind them, shaking the floor. Logan climbed down first, pulling the girl close while the medic followed. Above them, the creature reached the ladder and stopped. It looked down at Logan, eyes glowing brighter. Then it said, in the same broken voice, "You are fighting the wrong enemy." The ceiling cracked, sending dust down on them. The creature turned away and walked back toward the tunnel. Logan looked up, breathing hard. He didn't know what the creature meant, but he knew one thing. Something worse was waiting below. The tunnel air grew colder as Logan climbed down. The ladder shook with each step. The medic followed, breathing hard. The girl held on tightly to his shoulder, silent but alert. The sound of battle above had faded. Only the deep hum from below filled the air. They reached the bottom. The tunnel opened into a vast underground chamber. Rows of machines stood silent, covered in dust and glowing faintly blue. Strange markings ran across the walls. The light came from cracks in the floor that pulsed like veins. Logan looked around. "Stay close," he said. His voice echoed in the space. The medic nodded, her hand gripping the small pistol she carried. The girl stepped forward. "I know this place," she whispered. Logan turned sharply. "How?" "They showed it to me when I was taken," she said. "They said it was sleeping. They said humans shouldn't wake it." The medic stared at her. "What's sleeping?" Before the girl could answer, the floor rumbled. One of the machines came to life with a deep metallic growl. Lights flickered on across the room. Dust fell from the ceiling. The ground under them shifted. Logan steadied the girl and aimed his weapon at the nearest console. A voice came through the speakers, broken but human. "Captain Logan Hayes, you should not be here." He froze. "Who is this?" The voice crackled. "You know me. You left me on the Titan front." Logan's throat went dry. He remembered the name behind the voice. Captain Elias Ward. A man who had fought beside him years ago, believed dead when his ship vanished. Ward had been a friend once, a brother in war. "That's not possible," Logan said. "You're dead." The voice grew colder. "I was, until they rebuilt me. Now I command their army. Humans failed. The aliens only followed orders." The medic looked at Logan in shock. "He's working with them?" Logan's grip tightened on his weapon. "Where are you, Ward?" "Closer than you think," the voice said. The floor split open again, revealing a platform rising from the center. On it stood Ward, wearing a black armored suit lined with alien symbols. His eyes glowed faint white. He looked more machine than man. "They said humans were weak," Ward said, stepping forward. "But they saw potential in us. I gave them what they wanted. Order. Control." Logan aimed his rifle. "You betrayed your own kind." Ward smiled. "I saved them. You're still fighting for a cause that's already lost. This war ended the moment humans dug too deep." He lifted his hand, and the machines around the room powered up. Metal arms unfolded, revealing mounted cannons. Blue lights burned through the smoke. The medic grabbed the girl and ducked behind a pillar. Logan fired, his round striking Ward's armor. Sparks flew, but Ward didn't fall. Ward raised his arm and fired a beam of energy that tore through the floor, throwing Logan across the chamber. Pain exploded through his chest. He coughed and forced himself up, vision blurring. The medic shouted, "Logan, move!" He rolled as another beam hit the ground beside him. He grabbed a broken cable from the floor and ripped it free, sparks flying. He jammed it into one of the machines. Electricity burst through the air, shorting out several systems. Lights exploded. The ground trembled again. Ward stepped through the smoke. "You can't win. You're fighting progress itself." Logan threw a grenade at his feet. The explosion sent Ward crashing into the wall. His armor cracked, revealing burnt flesh underneath. For a moment, Logan saw the man he once knew, bleeding and breathing hard. "You don't have to do this," Logan said. "We can still stop them." Ward's voice was rough. "You never understood. The aliens aren't the threat. What's under this place is." The ceiling above them began to split, light spilling through the cracks. The machines went wild, lights flashing red. The girl screamed as the ground shook violently. The medic grabbed her and shouted over the noise. "Logan, the ground's breaking!" He turned to run, but a blinding beam of light shot up from the center of the chamber. Ward looked up, his eyes wide with fear. "It's awake," he whispered. The chamber filled with roaring sound as something massive began to rise from below. The ground split open under them. Fire and dust burst into the air as the machine below came alive. Logan pulled the medic and the girl back behind a broken wall. The roar of metal grinding against rock shook the chamber. Something massive was climbing out of the pit. Ward stood on the edge, his armor sparking. His eyes glowed with panic now, not power. "It's not supposed to wake," he said. "It's a planet killer. They buried it when the war ended." Logan shouted over the noise. "Then shut it down." Ward turned toward the growing light. It doesn't listen to anyone, it listens to the signal. The floor cracked again. A giant shape rose from the crater made of black metal and glowing lines. Its size filled the whole chamber. It had no face, only a ring of light where a head should be. Each movement sent waves of heat through the room. The medic yelled, "Logan, we have to go!" He nodded. They ran toward a side passage as the ground collapsed behind them. Rocks and fire rained down. Logan grabbed the girl and pushed her ahead. Ward's voice echoed through the chaos. "You can't stop it, Logan. It was made to erase life." Logan turned back. Ward was trying to reach a console near the pit, his armor cracked and smoking. He looked more human now, limping and desperate. Logan hesitated, then ran back through the falling debris. "You're coming with us," he shouted. Ward looked up. "You don't get it. I started this. I can end it." Before Logan could stop him, Ward slammed his arm into the console. Sparks exploded around him. The lights in the chamber flickered. The giant machine froze for a moment, then began to shift again. Faster, angrier. The medic screamed his name. Logan turned and ran back, dragging the girl. Behind them, the machine rose higher, tearing through the rock ceiling. The sound was deafening. The walls shook. The air turned white from heat. They reached the tunnel, barely ahead of the shockwave. The blast threw them forward. Dust and metal filled the air. Logan coughed and pushed himself up. The tunnel was collapsing. He could hear the creature's roar echoing through the ground. The medic was alive, bleeding from her arm. The girl stood beside her, holding the toy she never let go of. Her face was calm again, too calm for her age. "We can't stay here," Logan said. "Move." They crawled through the wreckage, guided by the faint light ahead. Every sound behind them was like thunder. The machine was breaking through the planet's crust. The tunnels glowed red from heat. They reached an exit shaft that led to the surface. Logan boosted the girl first, then the medic. He climbed last, his arms shaking from exhaustion. When he reached the top, he looked back one last time. A massive beam of light shot up from the crater below, reaching into the sky. They ran across the broken landscape. The warships above were pulling away, engines roaring. Even the alien ships were retreating. The machine was too powerful for anyone to fight. The ground cracked open again, and a shockwave threw them to the dirt. Logan looked up and saw the giant shape breaking free into the burning sky. It moved like a living storm, fire swirling around its frame. The sky turned black. The medic gasped, her voice trembling. "What do we do now?" Logan stared at the horizon. "We find a way to kill it. Humans always do." The girl looked at him. "It's not done. It's looking for something." He turned to her. "What does it want?" She looked toward the sky where the giant rose. "The signal. It wants the one who called it." Logan's stomach dropped. The air grew still. Behind them, deep under the ground, a faint voice came through the comm. Ward's voice. "Logan, it heard me. It's coming for me, and I'm not alone." The transmission cut off. The sky glowed red again. Logan stared at the horizon, knowing the war had just begun.